Revelation 12:11. And they have conquered him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. For they loved not their lives, even unto death.
The things that have been inflicted onto me, the things that I've inflicted onto myself, the Lord healed me completely.
All things, all beings submit to him. I could speak the name of Jesus and that evil would leave.
All I could feel was a peace and him say, "Not yet, daughter."
I called his name, and within a second, my breathing was restored and I could breathe normally again. I could not believe it.
And I saw Jesus interceding for me. And he said to me, "I've been protecting you from things you never even knew about."
Martyria. Welcome to episode 28, Asata's Martyria, Spiritual Cleansing and Total Blindness. If God knows about all of the spiritual gifts that we've been given, don't think for a second that the powers of darkness don't also know. So join us now as we have natural talk about Asata's supernatural walk.
So, grew up with both my parents. My dad is Muslim. My mom is Christian, or is Christian. And so that within itself, usually people are just like, how does that work? I don't know either, but they're there. And so because, like I said, my family's Liberian, because the main religion in America is Christianity, my parents just decided to let the kids grow up going to church and stuff. But we still didn't really like go to church often or things like that. Like we did whenever we did, like holidays, or just like there'll be some seasons where my mom was very on fire, and then there'll be other seasons where it's just like I couldn't remember the last time I went to church kind of thing. So it was very much like that. But I always remembered my mom talking about God, or I never questioned that my mom believed in God, or even my dad as well, even if he didn't say Allah, because he's not the most Muslim man, but he still would use God with us. He still would celebrate things with us. But it wasn't anything where my parents were very like strict. Like I wasn't one of those kids that like wasn't allowed to watch like Harry Potter movies or like Wizards of Waverly Place. Like it was never like that. It was just like I had a very open and just like free type of childhood in that sense. With that, just cultural things were more strict, but religious wise, we just did what we did.
I see. Yeah. So, I know that you said because you grew up in America, your dad was more open to like, yep, go to church, do the church things. But did he try to talk about like different, like even Islamic like holidays or like Islamic pilgrimages or anything like that? Or was it just like, nope, you're in America, it's Christian now?
No, actually, I asked him. Like, I remember. I don't know how old I was, but I know I was definitely like a kid, and I was just curious, just because I'm like, I noticed that they wore different types of clothes, and like the woman would have, like their whole head garments and things like that. So I would ask him about it, like, oh, can you teach me some of the prayers and like, and things like that. And so he would try to teach me, but it was just so hard because I don't know a lick of Arabic. And so I'm like, all right, it's too much. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to be Muslim. It's too much work. But that was it. Like, it wasn't any kind of like, don't eat pork and like, you have to go to the mosque with me, or just like on this day we do this, or like stuff like that. He was very just chill, just because, like I said, he's not super religious, even though that's how he grew up. Like he came from that type of home.
All right. Almost like you'd say almost like a cultural Muslim, right?
Yeah.
There's some,
Not like a personal conviction as much as, but I feel like that's how both my parents were. Like that's how I remember it. It was like neither one of them were as like on fire as they could have been for the God that they like believed in.
Hmm. Yeah. So as you grow up, do you continue going to church every now and again, like throughout your teenage years into your early adult life?
Yeah, I mostly went, I want to say in like high school. Um, and when it was time for college, that's when things kind of, which is normal, I'd say, like people kind of fall off or they just, because they're not at home anymore, they do whatever they want to do. But for my freshman year in college, I stayed in state. So I would go home pretty often just because I hated that school and I ended up transferring later. But when I would go home, I would go to church with my mom and my sister. But I always remembered, and this was probably like even before high school and college, like I always remembered being in church and hating praise and worship. And it was weird because I love music. Like I said, I love art. I make art. I used to make music, things like that. But I never understood praise and worship. And I would just
Hmm.
sit there. And I remembered my mom would be so mad at me, like, get up, stand up, like, and try to like make me do the church thing. Like I seen it as just doing the church thing. And I would always like ask her, like, why? And I was like, I never got an answer for why. Like, and I feel like that was a common theme for me. Like, all of the questions I had in general about church, about like why we did these things. Why do people talk like that? Why does like if a pastor's preaching and not the churches that we went to, but like I would see like videos or things of people like, and they're just like, like when they're, while they're preaching and being dramatic and like acting like they can't breathe and stuff. And I'm like, why are y'all doing that? Like, and nobody ever really was able to answer, and it just seemed very performative. So for me, even though I was younger, I was still pretty like intellectual, I'd say, and kind of just like um
Hmm.
I guess like I was kind of like Thomas in that, where I had a lot of like, I'm not about to just take what you say just for face value kind of thing. And I feel like because I couldn't really connect with it by the time I got to college and went to Philly when I left my school in Delaware, um, then I just didn't go to church at all. And that was just it. I got into some other things.
Right. So when you were going to church, that was kind of your feeling, was it was maybe more performative, or it didn't, like, would you say it didn't seem, well, I guess instead of saying it didn't seem a certain way, what would you say that experience was for you? Because I know you said like, the praise and worship thing, not my thing, but like for the rest of the sermon, was it a like, oh, this person is sincere, or like that makes a lot of sense? Like, where were you at with your faith journey at that point? Like, did you believe Christianity was right, or did you think it was kind of like, this is what you do on Sunday morning, or what was that like?
Yeah, it definitely was more like, this is what people do on Sunday. This is what people do on
Mm,
Easter. This is Jesus
hmm.
is the reason for the season. But like, is that even Jesus' birthday kind of thing? Like, do y'all even know? I don't
Mm,
know. So it was more like that. Like, this is just kind of how things are, but not having a true connection with it, and seeing lots of people that are that way too. Because it's like, I really enjoyed the sermons. I thought they were really good motivational messages, and like they were helpful. And I even like found old notebooks I had, like me taking notes and stuff, because like I said, I feel like I'm like a student of life, and I'll learn from it, whether or not I really like will take that as like my thing that I want to cling to. It'll just become a thing that I'll cling to. So that's kind of how I seen it. And with everyone else, I felt like the people were like nice, but just like in the church. And then like once you get to the parking lot, y'all are like beeping at everybody to move out the way, and just
Hmm,
like blasting whatever kind of music once you leave the parking lot. And like, so I'm
hmm,
like, so everything he just said, y'all don't even do that. Oh, that's weird. I don't like that. Like, I
hmm,
would notice things like that. And and just viewing other family members and the hypocrisy there. And I just viewed the Christians as hypocrites. And not that I was
hmm.
just like anti Christian, but I just viewed religions, period, as it's just hypocritical. I'll just take things that sound good from it, or things that I feel like can be true for my life, and then I'll just like be my own good person. But I don't need to have like a team to be on.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's interesting. It's funny because I wish there were more people like that at church who are like, wait, why are we blasting our whatever music? Why are we, cussing people out and honking literally in the parking lot just so we can get
Right.
out one car early? Like, what is that all about? What that to me, that's kind of like the meme nowadays, like greetings from Paul, right? Like that's that same sort of mindset where
Yeah.
it's like,
Like, what are we
I wish
talking about?
people would take it seriously. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's it. It's it's interesting to me because it is one of those things where, because I mean, obviously we still see the same thing in a lot of churches today where it's like, by the way, tomorrow's Monday, Jesus still rose from the dead. Like,
Right.
please still
Right.
be sincere, please. You know what I mean? It is challenging. It is challenging to try to take, Jesus with you, if you will, throughout the week, for a lot of people. But I wonder if part of that is, and this is just kind of going off on a little bit of a tangent, but I guess part of it is just like almost like how in the Book of Acts, it's like they committed to eating with one another daily. So it's like, it's not just like, ah, yeah, Sunday and Wednesday, we get that taste of Jesus, and then the taste kind of fades out from our mouth as we get throughout the, like, well, hold on a second. If every day we're meeting with each other, challenging each other, iron sharpening iron each
Yeah.
other, that mindset of like, why, hey, brother, last Sunday, why are you cussing out your buddy, honking at him just to try to get a car ahead? Like, oh, wait a second. I shouldn't probably do that anymore, huh? Like,
Yeah.
those types of things, that's important. So anyway, yeah, it's funny to me that you kind of seeing, like, hey, if the pastor says this and we don't do this, then I see that there's no value to it. But from a frustrating point of view, like, I agree, where it's like, well, why is the pastor saying it if we don't agree with it? Like, or why are we wasting our time coming here Sunday morning? Like,
Exactly.
what's the point?
And
Like,
that was my whole thing. Why are we here?
yeah. It's not like a bank. Like, you just put in $1 every week one time, and then eventually one day you'll have enough money to do like God doesn't need credit. Like, he doesn't need you to owe him anything. It's like 1 hour isn't going to be enough to make up for one sin, one whatever,
Yeah.
one time where we turn away from him. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just interesting where people are like, oh yeah, I go to church on Sunday, but the rest of the week, what are you doing? Like, why? Why go to church? I mean, thank you for going to church. Like, please go to church, but like, don't just go to do church. Like, go to be the church. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know. I can appreciate
true.
that. And yeah. Yeah, I'm more of an analytical person myself too. So I think that I guess I just appreciate your experience growing up, because I felt very much the same way, where it's like, wait a second, why does it stop when we go away? Like, I want to read the Bible throughout the week. I want to know what it talks about. I want to know what's going on. I want to know why it's so important. Like, we should
Right.
want to know that.
Right. And it's like
So when
y'all show
you
up and don't even have a Bible, but whatever. Like, that's how I seen it.
that's right. Yeah, no, I completely, yeah, I see that. That's very much, yeah, I appreciate that. I respect that a lot. When you get into college, though, you said it's kind of like every other college student. It's like things change. You're not at home anymore, so you kind of fell away from the Sunday morning, Easter, Christmas, church sort of thing until you were, going home. What did you transition into, or what caught your attention at that time?
Yeah, so I think this started for me like in high school more, but like even back then, I
Hmm.
remember just really liking like astrology, or like, just at least like the simple concept of just zodiacs period, and just like identifying people by their birthday, and having that just be something as like a cute, innocent like thing to joke around with people. Like, oh, we don't like you because you're this, and we love you because you're that kind of thing. So me and my friends kind of did that. But my senior year, I remember going on vacation with my best friend and her family. Her older brother was like really, really deep into astrology, and he like introduced me to the natal chart, or the birth chart. So like, instead of just everybody's sign because of their birthday, it's like, oh, you don't just have a sun sign, you have a moon, you have an ascendant, you have a Mars and a Mercury, and like all the different planets and placements and stuff. And then he was able to like read my chart to me, and I was like, oh, that sounds just like me. Like, wow, that sounds crazy. Like, and I started like reading into it more. and kind of like studying that, and eventually was able to like do it for other people. So by the time I got to college after my senior year and like get into like sophomore and junior year, I'm like super well versed in it. And that turned into, and even the my ex at the time when we were together, he also was into that like new age type of world. And so that
Mm,
turned into both of us like having different like crystals. And so it'll be the astrology, it would
mm,
be the crystals. It would be me joining the yoga club at my college, and traveling to different like places around the city, and doing the full on, like having full on sessions with them. But I felt weird about doing like the chants with them, because the people that were in that yoga club were like actual like Hindu people, or just some of them were like
mm,
Buddhist, but they did yoga and like different things like that. But
mm,
I was just like, this sounds kind of weird. I don't think I want to like hum like that with them, but I'll still like do these poses. Like I'll like, so I
mm,
started like feeling weird about certain things, but not weird enough to, or weirded out enough to like run away from it. Like it still seemed more interesting than anything else I've experienced, like going to church or like, um, just anything else like that that anybody could have told me. So with the astrology, with that, learning about the different chakras, and just like college just ended up being a whole lot of that, and then just progressively got worse and worse and worse when I graduated, pretty much.
hmm. Now, and I know you were kind of saying for church, you were a little bit more analytical about it. When you started getting into the new age stuff, did it ever come to mind like, well, wait a second, is this legit, or are these what did you say the charts were beyond the astrology? It was your friend's brother had it. That was the first time I heard it. What was it? What was that called?
Oh, a natal chart or a birth chart.
Natal charts,
Yeah.
yeah. So what within the natal charts, and he's like, okay, give me your information and like let me kind of tell you about yourself. Did you ever think like, okay, well, what if I tell him the wrong birthday, or like what if I tell him the wrong this information, but then all of a sudden it still sounds like me? Like, did you ever like read into it beyond the just like, okay, he told me what this is and now I'm like willing to work with it, or I don't know, did you like question it at all?
Yeah, no, because I feel like I was so thirsty for just like having some kind of like spiritual connection. Like I've had all kinds of like weird supernatural like occurrences or experiences like since I was like a very young. So it's like when I got to high school and did the zodiac thing, and even had like an app where I was able to see my um like what's the horoscope of the day kind of thing, and I felt like I was getting that guidance through that. By the time he told me about the natal chart, I said, "Oh, if you can tell me about my entire life, then how much deeper can I go with connecting to whatever this is?" Like I didn't see it as like
Hmm.
me connecting with some kind of God. I just seen it as me connecting with some kind of source, or the universe period, and something that was helpful. So because I seen how it was with my best friend and with um her other brother, I was like, oh, if it's accurate for y'all, I didn't even think to lie. I was like, oh, I want you to read me. Like it was fun. So I didn't even question it. And with the yoga club and other things like that either, it was just, this feels very relaxing. Everybody in here is really nice. Like y'all like look like me. Y'all kind of like have personality similar to me. Like I felt more of a belonging there. So I didn't care to like question things. I just felt like, oh, these are probably my people. I should stick around things like this, or like dive deeper into this.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. I would like to continue talking about this. However, we need to pause because you said you've had supernatural experiences your whole life from childhood. Okay. What kind of things happened that you experienced from your childhood? What was going on?
Um, so like I said, like being Liberian, or just West African period, because my family comes from a bunch of different countries, but mainly there. But there's certain like spiritual things or things relating to like witchcraft, or just like that realm that we just like no. So like something I've always been told has been like, if you have a dream and a spirit or a person tells you to follow it, don't follow it. Like that's just been like a knowing or something to do. So it's just like there's always been these little like laws or regulations for how to live a life or how to interact with the spirit realm. So by the time I was like in middle school and I'm seeing like some kind of demon thing at the side of my bed, like in real life, telling me to like, oh, come with me, like, oh, come with me. I'm not scared of it. I'm just like, get out. Like, ew, get out my room. Like, I'm having experiences like that. Or like the like with sleep paralysis. Like I had sleep paralysis a lot. I would always like just lay there and it didn't matter what position I laid in because I thought that was what caused it. I thought if I lay on my back, that'll do it. So then I started trying to sleep on my side. It still would happen. So I tried to sleep on my other side. It still would happen. So I'm like, I guess that part doesn't matter. It's just the fact that whatever this weight is on me or whatever is paralyzing me right now, I just can't move. And so I would have things like that. And I would try to like scream or try to like yell for my mom, and it's like, I feel like I can't even get the sound to come out anymore. It's like something is just like choking me or just like laying on me where I just can't do anything. All I can do is like look around. And sometimes I would like see different spirits when I do that, but sometimes I wouldn't see anything. I would just be like stuck until eventually it just like breaks. And I don't know what would break it. I just eventually I would just be able to move. And then I'd like try to get up and walk around just to make sure I'm like alive and well kind of thing. But that happened a lot. And like I said, I remember that was like a lot in middle school. And I remember mostly like when I was 14, I had this dream because I had all kinds of dreams. I feel like I've always been some kind of like prophetic dreamer. And that's on my whole mom's side of the family. A lot of people have dreams like that where they just know things are going to happen or then can predict things through their dreams. So I was the same way. And so when I was 14, I had a really, really, really major dream that like showed my life, showed things about my dad, about my mom, about my cousin, about like all kinds of people, all kinds of things. And it was so real that like at points it wasn't even like it was a dream. It was as if I was just like in some kind of other dimension living this life and like just having some kind of like knowing about everybody around me and stuff. And there was just like all this symbolism and like it was crazy because it was like kind of scary, but it was also kind of really cool to feel like I knew so much. And I remember getting out the dream and waking up and kind of like sweating and looking around and not really understanding what just happened. That was the first time I had a dream that was that potent to me. I just like wrote down everything I seen and all the different the symbolisms and whoever. And I remember telling my mom because like I said, my mom wasn't like she would have seasons where she was really, really into the church and her prayer line and things like that. And this was one of those seasons where she was into the prayer line. And so I gave her the whole rundown of everything I seen, and she told the people on the prayer line about it. And we ended up going to this conference and with these like prophets and people and stuff like that. So I was exposed to things like that in high school, and being able to just like know before the session started, like I feel like this lady has to talk to me, or I feel like this, and like having really, really strong like urges or like senses that this has to be said or this has to be done, but like not knowing how to explain it. So I feel like I've just experienced a lot of stuff like that pretty much my whole life, but still no like true answer for why that happened. No like like nobody came up to me and said, "Oh, you're just a prophet. Like that's why. And you should read these scriptures in the Bible and that will help you. You should pray about this and that will help you." It wasn't anything like that. It was just like, okay, yes, this happened to you. This is what that dream means. Okay, bye. You're on your own. It was like that. So I didn't really like get to have a full understanding of the gifts I had, or like answers to that, um those experiences or anything, until, like I said, I joined
Mm,
the things in college, and like everybody there is spiritual. Everybody there is like meditating and seeing things and having these like like having their higher self or whatever they're connecting with tell them words of wisdom, and they're able to get guidance like that. So I feel like I really was just like thirsty for guidance, and when I had these experiences I didn't get it until later, from the wrong guides.
hmm. Well, I wanna walk through a couple of these experiences if we can. I have a couple questions about it.
Mm.
So you were talking about when you were in middle school, you had an experience where you were kind of sitting on your bed and like a demon approached you. When you say, well, just, and if I have some of the details wrong, the real question is, when you say a demon, what would you classify as a demon? Like, how would you, like, how did you say, like, how did you know to say, like, this is a demon, not interested, don't want to follow you? And what did it look like? Did it say, like, did it speak audibly, or did you like hear it kind of in your thoughts or in your mind? If it did speak, what did it sound like? Just I'm really curious about that experience.
Yeah, yeah. So I wasn't sitting, I was like laying down, like getting ready to go to bed kind of thing. But I wasn't like
Hmm.
in like I wasn't like sleepy. I wasn't in one of those type states where I was like, you know, going towards the REM state or whatever the state it is where you're just like kind of in and out of consciousness. It wasn't anything like that. I was literally laying down, like, but knowing I had school the next day, so I had to go to bed kind of thing. And it was just it was so ugly. It was it was just like this creature. And the fact that I just I classified it as a demon just because my relationship with it was, this feels unsafe. This feels like something that I shouldn't trust it. I just had
Hmm.
some kind of like knowing or feeling that this is not good. And just because it looked like, it didn't look human, but it didn't look like how people talk about like demons with like the I guess like the little like horn things and stuff like that. It just looked like some kind of weird creature with like legs and feet that kind of, if you think about kind of like a centaur, but kind of like different, like those type of feet, but then more
Hmm.
claw like. And it was just
Huh.
like black, and just some kind of odd shape. I can't even really explain it. It was just I can literally just keep saying it's a creature. It was something that, it's not an animal. It's not an insect. It's not it's not a it's not a human. Like it just was some kind of entity creature thing that was dark and shadowy, um but just like, and I heard it audibly, and it was, and I was looking at it and listening to it as if, like how if a person was here in the room with me, it was just like that. Um, and
Huh.
it just sounded very distasteful, sounded very like deep, but also kind of um like sinister, and kind of like I don't want to say like a hyena, but like the energy of a hyena, where it seems like ha ha, like that type of energy with it. That's
Huh.
how it sounded. So hearing that and seeing it that way, I was like, "Oh, I don't like this. Get out. Get away from me. I don't Get out my room. I'm not following you. No. I don't even know where you're not even telling me where you're going." Like I didn't say all that, but I'm thinking like, you're telling me to go with you. Why would I go with you? I don't trust you. Get out, get away from me. I have school tomorrow. Like that's how I felt.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just imagine though, he did say like, "Oh yeah, do you want to go to Walmart?" Or like, I don't know, like
Right.
something like, or like, "No, not still no, like not
Yeah,
interested.
it's
No,
like
thank
midnight.
you."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. I've got school in the morning. Come on. But so was it tall? Was it like how tall would you say that it was?
Well, I'm 4'10", so everything is tall, but it's like it was,
Fair
I
enough.
mean, yeah, it was it was definitely taller than me, but it wasn't like a giant. It was like,
Mhm.
It was like, I'm trying to think what that height would be. It would be around like 5 feet, I would say. Like it
Okay.
was kind of small, but it was bigger than me, but it wasn't huge. But it
Hmm.
definitely was like, it didn't seem like any kind of spirit or demon or creature that was like super powerful. It just seemed like some kind of bully that was sent to bother me. That's how it felt. Like maybe if
Hmm.
demons had ages, it would be maybe like a somebody that was close to my age at the time, like some kind of like tween or something. Like
Hmm.
that's how it seemed.
I gotcha. So so that experience is different than your experiences with sleep paralysis, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna say with the sleep paralysis, it was more so like feeling more than seeing. And
Hmm.
I I want to say that there was a time that I could have seen things, but it was more so like distance, not like I see the thing that's on me. Like and it just felt just like really, really heavy. Just like something was just like laying on me and preventing me from moving my hands or my feet. Or like, because
Hmm.
every time I felt it, I always wanted to get up and run to go find my parents, and I was not able to move. So it just felt like something was preventing me from moving, but I couldn't see what was preventing me. I just knew it was something really, really heavy and preventing me from even being able to speak or even like move my mouth. Like something was kind of just
Hmm.
like just silencing me. That's how it always felt.
When when this is happening, we actually kind of talked about this pre-roll. I didn't know that you'd experienced sleep paralysis prior to you telling me now, but is that was there any noise associated with it? Was there any smell associated with it? Anything like that?
Yeah, I don't remember any kind of like smell or noise or anything like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
anytime I heard things, it was when I like seen spirits. Anytime I
Mm-hmm.
like or even the smell stuff that stuff happened way later in life. But during this season of my life, it was like just feeling, like just deep, deep feeling and just being super scared that there's something really heavy stopping me from moving and speaking. And I'm trying to get help. And the fact that I feel so helpless makes it even scarier.
Yeah. Well, and that was the second question I had actually. So, did it feel like it was something pressing down on you or something pulling you into the bed more?
It definitely was like something was just like pushing me down.
Hmm.
Like as if somebody was like laying on top of me, like holding my arms and like having their legs on top of my legs. So like it's like I can't go anywhere. Like that's how it felt. And
Hmm.
it's like I there will be some days where I would wake up and it would be even from like a dream, like a nightmare or something, or from things like that. And I would have like little scratches or little things like that and like not know where it came from. But I wouldn't even like make that connection of, oh, it's probably something during like from the sleep paralysis or from my bad dream.
Hmm.
It was just like, oh, I probably was wiggling around in my sleep and scratched myself. Like that's always what I thought. I didn't even make that connection. So it would be random
Hmm.
things like that, but it definitely felt more like a pressing down, but not like sinking into the bed, just like just pressing down to just prevent me from moving.
Hmm. And then, so I know that we kind of move forward to like kind of college time as well. Um, were you when you were getting into astrology, into zodiac, into yoga and all that, were you having any um supernatural experiences at those times as well? Like did sleep paralysis like kind of persist? I mean, are you still dealing with sleep paralysis? I don't know.
Yeah, not anymore, thank God.
Yeah.
That I haven't experienced sleep paralysis since like 2021.
Okay.
And that was connected to, the my whole transition into following Christ and the things that I dealt with that during that season. But in college and stuff like that, I faced a lot of, I would safely say, demonic torment, like a lot of it. Especially as I started experimenting with like drugs and alcohol and like um being super lusty and like having all these like sexual experiences with people and the demons they had dealing with, and then entering me through that, and like the all that kind of stuff. I feel like it definitely made me um have a lot more uh sleep paralysis and nightmares, and like seeing more spirits, and eventually even me having a and this was probably like my senior year where it was the worst. And I when I got into even deeper things and like other types of spiritual stuff, but I had like a palm reader who was kind of like my mentor, like my spiritual mentor kind of thing. And once I started connecting with her, it got even worse with the things that I experienced. So that was when I had a lot more things of like seeing spirits enter me, and like being able to like fully, like, I'm in a room full of people, but I see a double-headed spirit enter my body, and I have to just like pretend like everything is normal right now because everybody else is just chilling, passing around a blunt. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
it's like, but I,
Hmm.
but I'm able to realize, no, I'm not hallucinating. This is a real thing that just happened, and that was very normal for that time.
That is a very wild statement to think about, to say that that was very normal during that time. I mean, that we have 24 hours in a day, you know what I mean? And to have one experience, I think, would be very out of the norm, right? But to say that
Yeah,
that was the norm for you for a while is, that's challenging.
yeah.
When you're having your mentor who is psychic, and you're living kind of the stereotypical college life, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever else, right? All this sort of stuff. Is new age, are the, because you'd mentioned crystals even, is the are the crystals helping at all? Is anything within new age helping at all? Is there anything that is quieting or diffusing like all this spiritual interaction that you're having?
Um, I wish. It was it was very temporary. Like it
Yeah.
would help and kind of like blanket it for a second. Like I would like do a meditation, or and have my whole like little crystal grid set up, or just like lay out with them aligned on me in a certain way, and like have some kind of encounter where I felt at peace during that. But then once I left, it slowly went away. And then something else would happen, and it's like, okay, I got to do that again. And or like I would
Hmm.
take a bath and have a whole thing with that. And it was just like all the things I did, it helped in the moment, but it never like stuck. And
Hmm.
and I felt like I just probably kept doing it just because, number one, the mentor that I had, which really was just somebody just emptying out my savings, not really helping me much. But at the time too,
Hmm.
because she was so like wise with what she knew, and she visited my dreams and was able to like speak to me there, or just like tell me things afterwards, and just like all these different types of stuff. I was like, you know what? Even if it's hard right now, it's going to be easy someday. So I had some kind of faith that, like, even though right now this seems like I'm suffering a lot, like I'll have a hold on it later. Like the more I learn, the more power I'll have, and I'll be able to like help myself. Um,
Hmm.
but that, yeah, I just pretty much convinced myself that was the case.
Yeah. Well, when you were kind of laying out with the crystals positioned ever so specifically, was that in regards to like where your chakras were, or was that like, because, well, I guess the reason I'm curious about it is, I know within New Age practice, New Age is kind of like a blanket statement, right? It really could mean a lot of things, and so sometimes, you know, I'll say somebody will say something about like, oh, I did tarot. It's like, okay, well then now tell me about the crystals, the candles, the sage, the like all these things where it's like it's really it's a very large blanket statement, and it incorporates. I mean, in my opinion, and the way that I categorize all of it or catalog all of it is just paganism, right? It really is to me. You're either following Christ or you're following some paganistic practice, even if you don't acknowledge a deity at all. It's still some sort of paganistic practice, right? Which is kind of beneficial in that if you run into somebody who's like, oh yeah, use this sage. Oh well, this sage didn't work. Oh well, now use these crystals, and now use this tarot, and like there is no line because it doesn't fall outside of the realm of like, but this could be helpful to me, you know what I mean? So what, and I know you'd mentioned like learning about chakras and everything, so was it kind of like an intermingling of like these crystals? I mean, were they like, you know, charged or infused or somehow like had some sort of energy attached to them so that when you laid them out on your person they were supposed to, I don't know, cleanse a chakra or clear a chakra or something along those lines? Or I don't know. Did you just one day decide to lay down and put crystals on and you're like, actually, this helps?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a mix of both. Like, it's like the more I think about that time in my life, it was like I had so many friends and people that were so well versed in that world that like that was just normal. And like being around these different events where like my friends would be able to make jewelry with these things. So I would have like a choker that has something where it's like a lot of it was, yeah, the aligned with what the chakra was there and what it's supposed to do. I would charge it up. I would put it out in the sun and let it charge up. And I would like um listen to certain like binaural frequencies or binaural beats and things that like
Hmm.
are supposed to activate certain things in your brain and like put you in a certain state of mind and like um and all the kinds of things. And like um even like when I was, I want to say I was, it was my senior year of college. That's when I had my biggest experience of um like some kind of spiritual encounter. And this is after I dropped my mentor because she was just like taking all my money basically. And I didn't really feel like I was growing much. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember being in my friend's apartment by myself and he was just in class and I was just there by myself. And I heard a spirit say, go watch a tarot video. And from there, I kind of was just like, throughout my childhood, like I told you, like I usually would see the spirit that's talking to me. This was the first time I heard a spirit but didn't like see it. And also this was the first time it sounded very powerful. Like it sounded like I literally thought God was talking to me. So I'm having all these demonic experiences, like I'm having all the sleep paralysis and like the all these friends and people that just like wear these different crystals and stuff, whether or not it actually helps a lot or not, whatever. Which for some things it did, like, you know, certain ones that are supposed to help with creativity, I really feel like it did help me because, you know, our minds are powerful. If we want something to be true, it's gonna somehow, we're gonna make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
If for things for love and doing things like that, I also at the time was very like into making different like it would be classified as a potion, I guess, but making different, like I call it love water, where I had certain like herbs and things in it infused to just like make me more like attractive to people in general and just like to have a higher, just to like be to seem like a higher type of person, I guess, like energetically. And so I was doing all these things at this time. And so when I heard that voice, I wasn't into tarot yet. And when it told me go watch a tarot video, and I believed it was God because of how powerful it was. And I even looked around and everything because I was like, I thought nobody was here. Like it was like that. And I just did it. I just like I got my laptop, I went on YouTube and I typed in tarot. I seen that it was classified by like your sign and like the date or month or something. I watched a video and I felt like that lady knew the same thing how it was for me when I had that natal chart experience with my best friend's brother. Like, felt like that lady read my entire life at that time. And I was like, how is this woman in Canada able to know so much about me and what I need right now? And I had such a strong connection to it. I just ran with it. And it went to
Mm.
watching that one video to watching more. And then suddenly from there, feeling really connected to just like playing with my hands and wanting to like touch cards and like taking like Uno cards or like regular playing cards and just like shuffle it and just literally sit there as if I'm just self-soothing and just touching cards as if that's my new like
Mm.
stuffed animal that I've had since I was 10. Like it just felt like that, like very safe. And
Mm.
eventually I was able to know how to read it just intuitively. Like it wasn't like somebody taught me. I didn't have a mentor anymore. I just like knew looking at these numbers and these suits, this is what this means. I feel like this means that. And I started being like reading for myself
Mm.
and being super accurate on what that means and reading for other people. And they told me it was accurate. And it was just something like that. And I felt like doing tarot was the first time that even through the crystals and with the astrology stuff and with all the other type stuff that or the meditations that felt like they were helpful but then like not really. I felt like once I started reading tarot, that was the first time it felt sustainable. Like it felt like
Mm.
this actually is true, this actually is real. Like if tarot was a religion, I would be a tarotist. Like that's how I felt.
Mm.
um and I stuck
Yeah.
with that for a long time until it got deeper into other things like that.
Well, and I imagine coming from, say, Zodiac, reading your horoscope and having like an app for it, like you talked about. I think the thing with that is it's like, well, yeah, me and literally everybody else who has the same zodiac sign as me has the same horoscope, but the tarot feels very personal.
Right.
It's not, someone in the audience. No, no, no. It's me and somebody else, or just doing tarot for yourself. It's very, very specific. So when you're hitting and you're correct a lot, I'm sure that has to feel very, I don't know if powerful is necessarily the word, but like it has to feel some kind of way, because it's like, wait, this is right. And like you said, you're going based off of like intuition. Like, so there's like this kind of knowing that you have about it all of a sudden. So like, I don't know that, how does that, h- how does that feel? And how does that feel within the context of having all of these supernatural encounters around you all the time, seeing all these things, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden I flip this card and I know what this means. And like, were you, I guess one question is, did this really consume a lot of your kind of daily living? You know what I mean? Like you wake up and it's like, I am the tarotist, right? Like I'm doing tarot and I can do tarot and be available for these other people to do tarot, or whatever that is. Or is it one of those things where it's like, yep, get up, got my homework, I'm graduating soon, whatever it is, I've got my grocery list, I've got my errands to run, da 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 da. Oh, by the way, tarot, see all these kind of supernatural beings, do all this stuff, and then just kind of like get right back into like kind of, normal life, if you will.
uh, yeah, it was like, yeah, once I watched that video and had that thing of like connecting with the cards and stuff, it kind of
Mm.
escalated quickly and it became
Mm.
like when that happened, I graduated maybe a few months later. So once school was over, by school, like, and it became I was still teaching. Well, this is when I kind of started. I first started subbing, and then later now that's my full time thing. But so I would be subbing, and then I would do my tarot, and kind of just like
Mm.
practice and kind of play with it. It felt like it was just fun to just like play with it and do it with my friends, kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
I just became kind of just like I really honored it. Like I really seen it as like a true art form or a true um source of knowing or connecting with other people and a way to help people. Like I started
Hmm.
yes, powerful is the word, because I felt extremely powerful. I got extremely prideful with it. And but
Yeah.
also at the same time felt a very strong sense of like servitude. Like I felt like this was my purpose. Like that was the first time I felt like this is what I was born to do. Because
Hmm.
I would like one of my main issues my entire life was I would be so inspired by so many different things and be so interested in so many different things. And today I want to be a musician. Now I want to be an actress. Now I want to be a painter. Now I want to be a photographer. Now I want to be a writer. Like I would change my mind all the time. And
Hmm.
this was the first time it felt like I don't think I want to change my mind ever. And I did it for
Hmm.
2, 3 years, and to the point where I almost quit my job because I was making so much money from it too. Like it was very consistent. I was when they say booked and busy, I was booked and busy. Like I was very, very serious. Like when people
Hmm.
seen me, they knew me as, oh, Asata, she reads tarot. Like if you need a reading, go to her. Like it was like that. And I became like a spiritual mentor for people. With the tarot, I was able to those supernatural experiences I had with having a lot of like darkness and stuff. I then felt safe with the spirits I seen and had different like spirit guides and animal guides and like would have my candle burning and felt like, okay, well this is protecting me right now while I'm doing this reading, or this is helping me be at a different frequency anyway, or be in a different dimension that none of these little low frequency beings can even connect with me right now because I'm up and y'all not. Like
Hmm.
that's how it felt. And it was very
Mhm.
much like I would have my crystal set out and I would do the meditations to know the things about people. And so it's like I
Hmm.
started knowing so much, I like made an idol out of knowing and felt I got like addicted to knowing. And
Hmm.
and at the same time was like drunk all the time because like I used like that mindset of like, okay, alcohol is like they call it wine and spirits. I was like, oh, that must be for a reason. Maybe if I drink,
Hmm.
it'll help me connect with more spirits to help guide me while I do these readings. And then I fell into basically becoming a functioning alcoholic at that time. And so it just like connected with all these different things, but I was I still felt so like centered in a weird way. Like I still felt so like even if this sounds chaotic to other people, to me, I feel balanced. I feel like if something is wrong, if I'm sick, if if I need some money, I know how to solve that problem now. I can read these cards and they're going to tell me what to
Hmm.
do. I can take this bath, I can burn this candle and do this thing and it's going to work. And everything I started to do really worked for the thing that I needed it to do. So it's like I went from being bullied by these demons to now I'm I have more power than y'all. Like that's how I felt. Like and
Hmm.
it just the tables have turned kind of thing. And then I was just like able to teach other people that same thing. But I really feel like the the tarot did that. Then it was like even Reiki got added to it. Akashic records got added to it. Like it kept going deeper and deeper and deeper into other things. And I just was like bodying it. I was just like mastering these things that like I could take a class or a training for it because I got certified in these things. Like I can be certified in something, or even while I'm in the class doing it, and everybody around me is just like, wait, how do you already know how to do that? Like, we're still learning how to do it. But it's just like something is helping me connect with this practice that's like as if it wants me to do it. So the fact that I feel like it wants me to do it, I feel like I should keep going deeper. And that feels
Hmm.
even more like confirmation that I'm where I'm supposed to be. Like that's how it was for some years.
Yeah. Interesting. So I want to touch on your psychic mentor really quickly, and then I have another question too. But you had mentioned that uh, other than her draining your bank account, which I mean, I guess you were kind of doing the same thing too when you were doing readings for people, because I'm sure you could charge what you wanted to charge. If it's going to
I
be
did.
accurate, then it's going to cost them. And I there's a very capitalistic nature to knowing one more thing than someone else knows, and I know how that goes for sure. But you had mentioned though that she would visit you in your dream, and then you could kind of have a conversation with her about it after the fact. What was that like? Like she would. uh, I don't really know what to ask. What was that like?
Um, I was kind of mad at first, honestly. I was like, how dare you astral project into my dream? Like that's how it felt. It felt very
Hmm.
like how did you get in my house? Like that's how it felt. Like it was like I even the main dream that the first time it happened, I literally can see the dream right now. It was so strange. I was just like, that was actually one of the dreams too that happened after I got into tarot, and I was having a dream where I was like doing things with cards, and I left the space and went out into this other area to do something, and there was like this whole mansion, and she was just like in the yard, like looking at me, kind of like watching me and seeing what I would do and what I did. And
Hmm.
then she would like she texted me the next day and was like, "Hey, so I seen in your dream last night you did X, Y, and Z, and like this happened, blah blah blah." And I said, "Yeah, I did see you in my dream. I didn't know that like that was like really really you though, like because you have dreams about
Hmm.
people and it's like, oh, I had a dream about you, but they don't know she literally put
Yeah.
herself in my dream." And I was
Huh.
like, I didn't know people could do that. Please don't do it
Hmm.
again. Like I don't like that. But
Hmm.
that's she just knew how to do stuff like that. Like I never at that
Hmm.
point like astral projected like on purpose to like visit people in their dreams to spy on them or to do whatever kind of thing. So it was just weird. So I felt like that was also during the time where we started getting kind of button heads more, and I kind of was just like over her pretending like the whole reason why I connected with her in the first place was because she did a palm reading on the street with me, and I was like, "Oh, that was a cool reading." And I looked her in the eyes and just like felt hypnotized and was like, "All right, I feel like I should just connect with you." And
Hmm.
then she was like, "All right, well, you really want love too?" Because at this time, me and my ex were broken up, and I'm like, "Well, yeah." And she's like, "Well, I know who your soulmate is, and I can help you connect with him." And she's supposed to be connecting me with my soulmate, but instead she's just taking my money and just like telling me a bunch of nothing. Like just like that, giving me these
Mm-hmm.
different potions and stuff and like rub this on and meditate with this or this time and like do this and do that. And then tell me what you see, tell me what you learn. And then we can work from there. I'll go
Hmm.
to the waters and I'll pray for you and I'll do this for you and blah blah blah. But nothing ever came about from it. Like if anything, I just like felt more confused and stuff, but I still kept going because there was something about her that was very alluring. Like, of course, now I know it's just the spirit cells within her was just very like it just connected to whatever that was in me that really like it knew I was desperate for something, and it kind of just like
Hmm.
used that. But yeah, she did that. I was like, girl, don't do that ever again. Like I don't I don't like that. But
Hmm.
I couldn't stop her. That's what she did. That's what she wanted to do. That's she knew how to do it, and she kept doing it. And then I cut her off, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I don't want to work with you anymore. And I smashed the stuff that she gave me to use and did my own witchcraft.
Was was this in Delaware?
No, I went to college I went to Temple in Philly. So I was living in Philly
Oh,
at the
oh, okay, right, right,
and
right.
even after I
Okay.
graduated, I stayed living in Philly for a couple years after that. Yeah.
Hmm. So the second question that I had, and I don't know if it's an odd question or not, because this is the kind of the first time that I'm hearing about it. So, but you'd mentioned 2 times about like taking a bath. Was it like, was it with like a specific, I don't know, like a milk bath, or like specific herbs, or like what, or aromatics, or like what was it, or was it just a really warm, comfortable bath? Like what was the intent behind taking the bath, or what like kind of went into it? Because I mean, I guess, you know, like with crystals, right? Like you said, like, oh, I'd lay it out in the sun and let it charge in the sun, and like, so like there's, I mean, everything that you do within paganism, any kind of paganism, but like especially within like New Age, there's like just enough of a reason to feel like it could be true potentially. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, well the sun is really good for you, and there's vitamin D, and like, well, and if these crystals can store some sort of something, I want to walk around with that with me all day. Like, I get that. Like, I understand. It's like there's just enough of like a, it could be true, so I can commit my life to this, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, so is there something like that within taking a bath as well? Is there some sort of New Age thing, or do you just like baths?
I mean, I love baths regardless, but definitely
Yeah,
there
me
is a
too.
new
I'm a bath person. That's okay.
yeah, it I always loved water, and there is like, at the time there were like different elements that I was connecting with, like just having some kind of draw to that helped me um cleanse myself, like not just literally but like spiritually cleanse myself, and
Hmm.
be able to like, I would meditate a lot, and I was very like, I was able to really really see things when I would meditate. So meditating in these baths were very very like powerful, like those meditations that I did. And so it was um using like certain types of salt, using like not just pink Himalayan, but like Hawaiian black salt, or using like I very much got into, they call it root work, like using different herbs and knowing the properties of them and like what they help with. And the same way how we know if you're sick, peppermint helps, elderberries help, things like that. The same thing works
Hmm.
with magic. Certain herbs and certain um like salts, or the combination with certain crystals and doing it during certain times of the month, all of those things work together and it really works. Like you really see how it can like affect things. And so I would take these baths mostly because I was so overwhelmed from all the readings I did, and I needed something to just like, I need a reset. But also if I really wanted to like see more into something, or if I, with the spirit guides that I connected with, um, if I wanted to like just commune with them more, that was my way of communing with them. Like how a Christian would read their Bible to connect with God, me taking a bath and meditating to connect with Red Eagle, is that's what I did, kind of thing.
Hmm.
And so I would mainly do that, or like even like when you look into the water, you can start to like see things appear in it as well. I started even for a while like practicing with fire to learn how to like read fire, and like just work with different elements in general, just to see how well versed I could be in different like yes, pagan, like just different holistic practices, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
With different herbs and stuff. Yeah.
Hmm. Well, and actually, so you'd mentioned Red Eagle. That was another thing I wanted to ask about. So you kind of mentioned you had a lot of spirit guides, but then also like animal guides and things like that. So are they communicating with you like fairly freely, or you know, actually, let me ask, because I have never had a spirit guide or an animal guide. Um, do they introduce themselves to you, or do they have to like ask permission to kind of form a relationship with you, or like what does that process look like? Or, and are you able to choose, like are you able to say like, actually not interested in doing business with you, I'll wait till the next, you know, spirit guide
Mm.
comes along, or what have you?
Yeah, that's funny. No,
It may be. I sincerely don't know. I don't
yeah,
know.
no, that's good. I'm glad that like you're like curious about it. I wish more people were curious about learning different stuff like that to connect with people. But um it was just like I would have different moments of it. I feel like it's always the same response. I just suddenly feel a draw towards a certain thing. Like it would be a
Mhm.
certain time where I would feel a connection with the color pink. Then suddenly flamingos, then learning about
Mm.
them and and whatever I can get from that, and just like suddenly it's like I become that thing, like a certain thing that they do, like with their personality or how they commune with other people, or like how they walk around. Like I started to like really like as if those things possessed me in that moment and I just became it. Like that's how it was for like different animals at different points. And it would be the randomest ones, but it still was for me helpful. And then it would do something for like if I'm in a reading, somehow would be relevant, somehow would help the person, like a way of living for that certain animal, or with the spirit guides that were more like people, or more like actual spirits, or angels, or whatever the case, like they would more so show up if I'm doing a reading, and like I would kind of have a subtle whisper, or like if I'm sitting in bed, I will like hear like a conversation happening, and kind of like tap into it, and then maybe like write it
Mm.
down, or just have a moment where I just like, even if it sounds like mumbling, I would just like be quiet and just like breathe, and then feel like that those mumbles like entered me, and then it would
Hmm.
help me later. Like I would take it as I just took that to then say it when it needs to be said. Like that's how I seen it. Even though I didn't really like see the spirits that were there at that time. I just kind of like would hear conversations happening, or different things like that. And when I had like a bunch of different tarot decks and stuff, I would have certain decks that certain types of spirits came out more. And I'm like, okay, for this person, I feel like I need to use, because I would use multiple decks in one reading. Like my readings were
Mm.
very long, which is why they were expensive. So they were very long and very
Mm.
thorough. And I would, for the first half of it, just do a psychic, like intuitive just thing of like, okay, I feel like this is gonna happen, and that, and like you're gonna have a work trip and have an issue with this type of coworker, and like this happened when you were a kid, and so blah blah blah, and do stuff like that for a while. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's look deeper into whatever I just said, just to confirm. And then it would confirm and then say more things. And when it would do that, I would feel the spirits with me. Like I would have my um I had like a whole YouTube thing with like dragon frequency sounds, or just like whatever different frequency sounds that I wanted. Or like Lemurian goddesses, all these different types of things that connects with certain crystals I had too. And I would have certain color candle burning, and I would have like my Palo Santo, or like whatever it is, like burning as well. And just just go. And I have my wine right there too. And just it would just be a whole like science to it. And it's like all these, and I would literally feel the presence of them around me, but I wasn't scared. I was just like, oh good, my friends are here to help me. So I can help this person. Because everything is about serving them. Everything is about helping them. And getting the responses from the people, and how I really helped them. And sometimes they were people that I've never even laid eyes on, but it's just like, because I would record videos and send out the videos to them. It was mostly virtual. Um,
Mm.
they would be like friends of friends, or family members of the people, and a lot of them were even Christians that I read for. And it was just
Mm.
like I would send out the videos to them, and they would just send me voice memos of just like crying, and you've helped me with something that I've struggled with for so long. And I never knew this and that. And I never seen it that way, and blah, blah, blah. And then it would just be this whole cycle of doing it more and more. And that was just it. But the guides were definitely, it was like the more advanced I got, the more spirits came to show me and to help. But they would just appear and I would just trust it.
Hmm. When you say that they would show you, what would they show you or help? Like, how would they help?
It would be, like I said, if I like just like hear something and I just like,
Mm-hmm.
I would be quiet for a moment to just like ingest it and then say something. And then I would be like, oh, I don't know why I said that, but, and then I would run with it. So it'd be something like that. Or it would
Hmm.
be like, I just feel a connection to look at a certain card or to just like I'm shuffling, and I just like feel a
Mm-hmm.
nudge and I'm like, okay, I'll throw that card out. So it would be like little things like that. It was mostly I felt them and heard them a lot. The seeing was only in my meditations or the ones that were kind of just like before this where it was the tormenting, but it was mostly just like the sense of them and the sounds of just like I feel like I need to do this because I hear something right now or my ears ringing and this must be important
Hmm.
or like I need
Mm-hmm.
to tune into this. Like it was just like it just felt more like a just nudges for things.
Yeah, I just had this thought, and I'm really curious what you think about it because I've never really thought about this before. But having such a high interactivity with all these kind of spirit guides, animal guides, all these sorts of things that really seem to gravitate or magnetize really to you. Um, but then also to kind of I want to reconcile that with how you'd mentioned early on that your family from your mother's side kind of has this sort of prophetic sort of ability, right?
Right.
And so my take on a lot of this is that the giftings that we have are given by the Holy Spirit, and if we use them for the benefit of the Holy Spirit or not is kind of up to us, right? Like that's kind of that free will element. And so like do you think, because you're saying like I felt very powerful, I felt very much in control, I felt like a lot of these demons or unclean spirits or whatever these things are that are or spirit guides that are like coming to me, it's kind of like, well, wait a second, like I don't need you, you need me. Do you think that there may actually be an element of truth to that, where it's like, wait a second, they see this gifting of prophecy and they're like, ooh, let's manipulate that, let's take advantage of that, let's use that for our purposes, whatever that is.
Yeah, yeah. I I definitely feel like I agree with that. Like because of course like all our gifts that we have like to come without repentance and like we have these gifts and it's like you said, whether or not we use it for God's glory, he gave it to us. So we can still use
Mm,
it. We have our free will. It's just like because I didn't know better, it's like when you don't know better, you don't do better. And
mm,
because nobody else checked me or corrected me or told me to stop, then or even if they did try, I wasn't listening to them. Um, because
yeah.
because I mean, honestly, because it's like if even like when I think about it, like I would come home, like I would come back home to Delaware, and my room would just be all like set up with my like my altar and like my different stuff all over the place, and I also was making a lot. Oh, I didn't even say this part. I was making so much art at this time too that all my paintings were I was specifically making paintings to create my own tarot deck. Like I was in the process of doing that because I felt led to do that, create my own deck. So I
Mm,
had so many paintings all around me that I felt like when I made these paintings too, there were like spirits connecting with them. So there was like energy coming from them and it was just like all there. But with 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 my feelings towards it, it just felt very like, wow, I feel lucky that y'all chose me. Like I feel lucky that and I
mm,
felt like God told me to do it. That was my whole reason. Ever since I heard that voice say go watch a tarot video, I genuinely
mm,
believed that God told me to do it in that moment. I did not believe it was deception by the enemy. I thought I've never heard a voice this loud, this boisterous, this like to the point where I got scared and looked around and was like, who just yelled at me? Like it felt like
Hmm.
such a serious command. And I was like, if I don't obey this voice, then I don't even know what I can do. Like I'll just die or something. Like it felt that serious. So because I
Hmm.
took it so seriously, everything I did just felt like that voice that told me to do it. This is just God sending me the help I need to fulfill my mission. And it wasn't anything that was like
Hmm.
I'm harming anyone or harming myself. This is purposeful. So whenever like I have a cousin who later is the person that led me to Christ, but when she would come in my room and kind of like look around, she wouldn't say anything. But when I knew someone was off, because she was pretty much the only person that's like a real type Christian person. She still wasn't
Hmm.
judgy with it though, but she would like kind of just like look around and she just knew something was off, and I knew that she knew something was off, but she didn't really say too much about it. Like when people do stuff like that, I just be like, all right, y'all just don't understand. Like if even Christians be coming to me for readings, like y'all just don't know what I know. Like it's okay. Like
Hmm.
and just it was like that. And even when once Reiki got into the picture, because I did have a mentor for that, the lady who I got certified with, and she I remember did a Reiki reading for me. And one of the things she said was that Jesus showed up in the reading and removed something from me that was hindering me from doing whatever I needed to do. So because I felt
Hmm.
like I was getting like Christian type of like feedback while I was doing this stuff, or like other like religious leader or like faces telling me things at this time. And then in college, I took a Eastern religions course, and like and philosophy course. And so I took all these different things and seen it as long as I'm being a good person, and as long as I'm doing these readings and people are feeling good, and these spirits are not like making me feel like I'm in danger, then I'm okay. And this is okay. And my gift is being used properly. That's how I felt.
It's so it's so interesting. One of the first people who I interviewed, her name is Lisa. She had made a TikTok several weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago now at this point, where she was like, my whole life I thought I was a people pleaser until God said, actually, all I've wanted you to do this whole time is to pray for people, because I'm the one who can help people. You don't have to exhaust yourself trying to help people. And so like, that's like, to me, like I find people who are prayer warriors, or that's there's a gift there is something that God has given an amount of faith, or however you want to quantify that, where it's like God is calling you to prayer, but instead you go, actually I'm going to try to help them, and I'm going to exhaust myself, and I'm going to do it my way, when God's like, wait a second, like I am there for it, right? And so like, as you're saying everything that you're saying, that TikTok of hers just keeps like coming to my mind, where it's like God has given you such an amazing gift, like such an amazing gift, and every single like dirty, rotten, low, whatever vibration, unclean, whatever is like, I'm going to snatch that from you in
Yeah.
any way, shape, or form that I can. And it's like, even that idea of like, I heard this powerful voice, and for the first time I couldn't see it, that could proc things in your mind of like, oh, well, wait, in Christianity, God says he's never been seen, so it's got to be God's voice. And then as you're walking through, it's like, oh, wait, Jesus is helping you here. And it's like, oh, by the way, everything you're saying is accurate. People are giving you live feedback of like, I am in tears. You are telling me things that I've never known or wanted to always know, or like all of these things, where it's like, wait a second, they are all feeding off of you based on the gifting that God has given you. And that is so ugly to me. That is so gross. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're just like parasiting off of you. because of the way that God has literally made you who you are. And they're like, we hate you. We hate God, but we love his gift for you, and we are going to ruin your life with it. And think that, and make you think that we're just helping you. We're being available to you. We are your guide. While the whole time it's like, wait a second, who knows the future? The Holy Spirit knows the future. So if you're giving accurate readings because of the gifting within you, and they're like feeding off it, I don't know. It just, and I have not had this thought before with anybody else that I've interviewed, just so you know. This is very much like it's making a lot of synapses light up right now in my brain, where I'm just like, oh my goodness, like this is such a perfect and devious deception.
It
because you feel grateful from your perspective of like, thank you for being my guide, thank you for teaching me these things, thank you for showing me this, thank you for, and all these things, and all it's doing is wasting your time, because the less time you have to be able to share and use the gift that God has given you for his glory, the better it is for them.
exactly. And it's
I don't know
just
that.
like, yeah, I've never thought about it that way either. Like that, because it really does feel like that. It's like, how dare you use me for your disgusting will to be done? Like, and because the demonic kingdom and all of, I even hate thinking about it as like a kingdom, because like you're not a king, you're just like whack. But it's like thinking about how everything they do is just trying to be a copycat of what God does. The way, because after I got out of all this, I'm like, God, you got to help me make sense of this. There's no way this stuff was so accurate, and this was that, and that was that, if this is not true, if this is not real. Like you have to help me understand it. And the way I see it now is like the same way how God knows all. The enemy is not all knowing. He is not everywhere all the time, the way that God is. But he does have plans, and he does have his own will, and that whole 1/3 of the angels that decided to go with him, they all work together to make those come to pass. So I see it as when I did these readings, and the certain things I said is like, I'm saying things to help manifest the will of Satan for your life. And you are so happy to fulfill that. Because I remember I did a reading for a girl. And this was probably one of the most powerful readings I've ever done. I meditated first. I did this whole thing. I literally seen her entire life as if I was there living the life with her. And then went deep into her future, even seeing the person that she would date, how the person will die, all kinds of things, and what she's going to do after her partner dies. And I told her, and she ended up being with a woman in the meditation. And at this time, I was like, when I was talking to her, I'm like, oh, I don't know if you've ever, wanted to be with women or were bisexual, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, no, yeah, I am. But I'm like, okay, well, this is what she looks like. This is what her hair color looks like. This is what her skin looks like. This is what her eyes look like. This is how tall she is, how thick she is, blah, blah, blah. This is the kind of work she does, everything. And literally after I did that reading, I don't even know how many months later it was after I had my whole thing that happened that made me stop doing this and come to Christ and all of that. So it's like that happens because that was one of the last readings I did. Then I get saved. Months later, she randomly sends me a picture of her with that woman I seen in my meditation. And I threw my phone and said, there's no way I seen that. You ended up being with the person I literally seen in my vision to a T. And it's a woman. So that's not even what God wants for you. And God was using moments like that for me to realize, yeah, like you were helping people, but you weren't helping people the way that I told you to help them. You were helping people the way that the devil wants you to help them. The things that he wants to do in their life, the ways that he wants them to die or to whatever else happened in their life. And that made me sick to my stomach. And I just I would be so it just took so much time for me to just like forgive myself with that, because I was like, yo, I can't believe I swore I was helping people be better, but I was breaking up marriages, telling people to leave their spouse, telling people to get abortions, telling people to date women, telling people to just like leave their jobs and to give me their money instead to get another reading and just do these things and buy certain herbs and buy certain crystals and to move to these places knowing they have no plan, thinking that that was going to help them have freedom, and that is not what God wanted for them at all, or me to be the vessel to
Mm,
do that. And while I'm
mm,
destroying myself with drugs and alcohol and depression and the all the things that I was dealing with, like that, none of it was good. I just was too blind to see all of that at the time. Like, and so what you said, definitely, like, that's exactly, it is very disgusting. It's terrible that I was just used as a
mm,
pawn in his little game.
mm.
Well, we've kind of gone into the depths of despair in a way,
Uh,
right? We're seeing kind of the lie for what it is in a lot of ways, and I'm sure this is not the first time that you've been down this path, right? But the beauty is we know that the story doesn't end there, right? So what is, and I know you kind of touched on your cousin was very vocal in this transformations. What does that process look like? At what point do you decide this can't this can't keep going on?
yeah, that's where it gets kind of interesting, I think. But I remember this was 2021, and it was Mother's Day, because that's Mother's Day is in May, right? Yeah, that's Mother's Day, not Father's Day. Yeah,
Mhm,
so Mother's
mhm,
Day, and me, my mom, my cousin, um, and my sister, my little sister, we all went to go, get our nails done, feet done, blah blah blah, whatever. Had cute little girls' time, and then when we left, um, went home, everything was normal, whatever. Few days later, I'm still living in Philly. Actually, at this time, I was dating a woman and was living with her in Philly, but I would come home every now and then. And so this was one of
mhm,
the days where I was coming home. And also, side note, the woman that I was dating, she also was really, really deep into witchcraft and everything. So we would do a lot of things like that together and everything. So her house was kind
mm,
of just like this whole demonic portal kind of place.
mm,
And she left to go on vacation somewhere. And so I was kind of just like, plant sitting and taking care of her stuff and, all that kind of stuff. So I remember this day I went to go water all her plants. And then I was like, all right, let me just like go home because, she's not there. So why am I there? And, but I remember feeling really like weird that day. I like something just felt like very eerie and I couldn't put my finger on it. So I'm just like driving home. I'm like, oh, let me get some Chick-fil-A. Like, love Chick-fil-A. And then they had like a sauce shortage. So how dare they only give me two sauces when I wanted four? And so I decided to take out my phone and I'm making an Instagram story complaining about how I got two sauces instead of four. And I'm literally not even 2 minutes away from my house. I'm going to the train track. There's this dump truck in front of me. I'm speeding because also that was another thing I love to do. I love to just speed everywhere, have crazy attitudes, be a hot mess. That was my whole thing. And so I'm speeding, making the story. The dump truck stops at the train track the same way how buses do to open the door and do whatever they do. And I wasn't expecting the dump truck to stop. So I tried to like swerve around it, but my whole car couldn't make it around it. So the left side slams into the dump truck so hard that the bottom of like the back of the dump truck lifts up and my car goes under it like that.
oh,
And and then it was just this whole big thing. Airbag comes out, punches me in my left eye, and instantly my left eye became blind from that. And so even to this day, there's like it's total blindness in my left eye from that. And this was
Oh, wow.
2021, May 12th, 2021. And so the whole thing happens with the adrenaline and everything. I don't know what to do other than like, I just felt like, let me just crawl out the passenger side. And as soon as I crawled out, the car started smoking like it was about to catch on fire. And then I just like, there's a store that was right where the train track was. And so I just got out and I just like touched my face like this, and I seen all this blood on my hand, and I just like screamed the F word really, really loud. And there was two guys in the truck that I hit, and I was like, oh my God, like, did I lose my eye? Is it gone? And mind you, it was really late at night too. It was really, really late at night. Because Chick-fil-A was about to close. So it was maybe like 9 p.m. or something like that. And the two guys were just like, they didn't know what to say. They're just like, no, I don't think so. Like, they didn't know how to respond to that because it's leaking out my face. Like, it was just a lot. But they were so kind to me and sat with me. They called 911, ambulance came, all that type of stuff. Like, people ran the store, got me some ice, some water, everything, tried to calm me down. And so then fast forward through all of that, after going there, being abandoned in the hallway at the hospital, that was very fun. And having instead of them rushing me into surgery, which I would think that would be emergency surgery if somebody's eyes leaking out their face. No, I had to wait till the next day. And they told me that it was something called a global rupture, which basically means that all of the healthy parts of your eye, and sorry if this is very like, super gory or like super too descriptive, but basically all of the healthy parts of your eye just ooze out, kind of thing. So basically my eye was melting. That's what happened. And
Wow.
and so the surgeon had to, and I had 3 surgeries, but the first one was because of that global rupture. And so the surgeon had to literally try to sew my eye back together from what was left. So from that, I no longer have an iris. So now my eye's not brown anymore. It's just the natural pigment of what's there. So it's kind of more like a hazelish blob. And it's not even like a whole circle really. It's kind of just, like I said, like a blob. And kind of like bluish, and it's just like the whole thing of floating matter or something. And it shrunk, and it's just the optic nerves totally shot, totally dead. And at that point my brain stopped communicating, because of course they had to do a full body scan and all that kind of stuff. So my brain stopped communicating with my left eye. So even to like open it all the way, it doesn't even want to do that, because it's like, if there's no vision there, we don't need to open. Like, that's how the brain communicates with the eyes, I guess. And but even though it was like I couldn't see at this point, my retina was still attached. But a week post-op, when I went to the doctor, they said your retina is at risk of detaching. And so we don't want that to happen. So we're going to just like, watch it, this and that. Soon it did detach. And so, and of course, the retina is the part of the eye that helps you see picture images. And for another side note, before my accident, my entire life, my left eye was perfect 20/20 vision. Like, didn't need glasses, didn't need any kind of help. I could see something far, far away, perfectly clear. My vision was perfect on my left eye. And my right eye was legally blind. So all I could see out my right eye was like colorful, blobby figures and stuff. So like, even if like me looking at you right now, I would not be able to discern anything other than just seeing black and like tan. Like, I would not see a person. I would just see colors. And so like they so the fact that the airbag hit my left eye, I then became legally blind instantly, on top of totally blind because my retina detached. And the surgery they gave me to reattach it, my eye rejected the surgery. And I woke up during the surgery. So that was fun too. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Golly.
so it was just a hot mess. But it was just a crazy experience of like, I don't know, like having eye surgery makes you feel like your literal brain is on fire. Like that's how painful it was
Hmm.
to heal from that. The with that retinal detachment surgery, I had to keep my head looking at the ground like this for 23 hours out of the day, every single day for I think like
Hmm.
2 weeks. And
Wow.
only being able to lift my head up for 1 hour. So even I had to sleep on my face. If I was able to sleep because of all the meds I was on, I had insomnia. And the moments I did fall asleep, I was tormented by all those spirit guides that were my friends once upon a time. So it was like everything that I did kind of started like, haha, just kidding. We were never your friends. Like, and now, you know, we actually wanted you to die. Like that's how it was.
Hmm.
And I didn't even make this connection until later, but I, along with the note of the Mother's Day thing, I had a dream around that time, or like a month or so before that. And in that dream, Father Time, which connecting with astrology and tarot and everything like that, is connected to the devil card and connected to Saturn. And
Hmm.
and karmic patterns and things like that, and all that connection. So Father Time came to visit me in my dream and came and shook my hand, but shook my left hand. And while he was shaking my left hand, he was staring deeply into my left eye. And I'm just letting him shake my hand and I'm not really questioning it. I kind of just, when I woke up from that dream, I was like, oh wow, like maybe there's some kind of like this, whatever karmic cycle is happening, it's something that's positive. Like I found some kind of way to make it positive. Like I was just
Hmm.
so delusional at that time that I was like, that was a good thing, that like the devil sees me as like some kind of way, like a equal, like yeah, we can shake hands, and like it's nothing
Hmm.
bad, like because I wasn't scared of the devil. Like I used the devil card in tarot, so I'm like there's positives to everything. Everybody's not as evil as everybody says they are. I just felt like people didn't really understand the devil. That's how I felt. And so when this accident happened and later I thought about it, I said, oh, that dream was warning me that that was the plan of the enemy to take my left my vision out my left eye. And kind of shaking hands, basically creating a covenant, creating an agreement in the spirit
Hmm.
to then manifest in the physical realm. But I didn't know that, so I didn't stop it. And I didn't talk to nobody to pray for me or anything like that. I just was like, oh yeah, cool. The devil
Hmm.
sees me as an equal, or like I'm powerful, whatever. And
Hmm.
what I also didn't know was when my cousin hung out with me and we went to get our nails done that day, she and her friends, who they pray together every day and they have their own little Bible study group together. She said that once she seen me that day, she knew something was off with me and something bad was going to happen. So she told her
Hmm.
friends to all pray for me.
Hmm.
And I believe that God used her to pray for me that day to spare my life, because I genuinely believe I would have died that day if I
Hmm.
did not have someone with discernment to know that something, like the enemy was trying to hurt me and that it was
Hmm.
coming soon. So I believe that those prayers saved my life, and that God sent his angels to protect me in that accident. And when all of that happened and I had my different surgeries and my healing process and all of this terrible stuff was happening, um a day came where that same cousin, who literally lives like 5 minutes away from me, so she we hang out all the time. She's basically my big sister. Um, she came over and she said that she had a prophetic word from her friend, one of her friends who prayed for me, and
Hmm.
which I didn't know that they prayed for me. And so I was sitting there in my bed, and she said that God told her friend to tell me that if I didn't stop doing the things I was doing and living that kind of life, that that car accident was not going to be the only thing that would take me out, that the enemy would use to try to take me out. Like, he would try again with something even worse, like with like a really, really deathly sickness. And it wouldn't end the same way. Basically, like it would probably work, kind of thing. Like, that's like he's gonna try hard now. And and that I didn't know how deep I've gotten. And when she told me that, like you would think that I would get scared by something like that, but I actually didn't get scared. I actually really got pissed off. And I kind of, just because, again, my same mindset was God told me to do tarot. So who are you to say that the things I got into were too deep and it was bad? Because this is the response from people. I used to struggle with money. Now I'm not rich, but I got money now, to the point where I was planning to leave the East Coast and planning to move to Sedona, Arizona, which is known to be a very super new agey spiritual,
Oh yeah.
whole hub. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna move to Sedona and make even more money because the people over there understand me and they need what I have to offer. So I'm like, who are you to tell me this is all bad? And whatever your friend's talking about, I don't even know her friend. I never met her friend. I don't know nothing about her friend. And God talking to her, God already talked to me already. I know what I'm doing. And so I'm having this argument with her, mind you, still healing. So I'm like this and trying to look at her, but still trying to think about my surgery. And she said, she didn't even like fight back. She just looked at me and she said, Asata, God didn't tell you to do that. He would never tell you to do that. You were deceived. And then she just stopped talking. And I was like, I just looked at her and was like, man, whatever. My little dollar store glasses too, because I couldn't really see. So I had my little dollar store glasses to try to see something. So I'm like, I said, man, whatever. I'm just going to go to the bathroom. And then I went in there and just sat in the dark in the bathroom, which I did a lot. I sat in the dark a lot. And I just felt, it wasn't that way that I heard that voice telling me to do tarot. Like, it wasn't like a loud, crazy voice. It was like some kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it, because it wasn't audible. It was just like a deep, super, super deep, impactful feeling and knowing inside of me that I needed to surrender in that moment. And I just like really sat there with that. And I just felt so defeated. And so like, I didn't know what to do with myself, because I just was like, I feel like everything I knew in that point was like a lie. And that was the first time I really like looked back at all of that and felt like maybe she's right. And so I got up and I went back to my room, where it was my cousin, it was my mom, and it was my little sister. And I just told them like, all right, y'all, like, get rid of everything. Fine, whatever. And I almost want to get emotional now. Like, I just like, I remember just like sitting in my bed and just like watching them like take everything. And like, I had like 18 decks. I had so many decks. And these are decks that people bought me, or I spent like lots of money on. And the art I had around, art that like the girl I was dating at the time, like stuff that she made for me and I had around purposely, like intentionally, all the things that I did so much, like the candles I had in the herbs. And like, they wanted to take my crystals, but I was like, don't take my crystals. I don't think that's bad. I didn't see that was wrong yet. So I was like, don't touch that. But you can take everything else. And they just like threw it all in the trash, and I was just so distraught. Like I felt like I was like witnessing my own funeral. Like that's how intense it was for me in that moment. And
Hmm.
then that was just it. Like it was just crazy for me.
Yeah. Well, so at that point, then it seems like you're still kind of not necessarily, I don't want to say like on the fence, but like, yeah, I see this stuff is not good, but is that enough at that point to kind of tip the scale the other way and say, not only is it not good, but now I should probably follow the actual Jesus, follow actually who God is. Like, what does that process look like?
Yeah, like the crazy thing is in this whole experience, she never used Jesus's name. Like even though I knew she was a Christian, in my mind, my mom was also Christian. My sister was also a Christian. My other sister was also a Christian. So it's just like she didn't need to say Jesus' name for me to know that when she said God told me that she was talking about the God who also talks about Jesus. It was just God.
Hmm.
And when I heard that or had that feeling of surrender, I didn't know that was Jesus or the Holy Spirit. I just felt like something told me to surrender. It was just something. And so when that happened, and it was like soon afterwards, nobody really told me to try to learn who Jesus was. I just suddenly got curious about the Bible. So
Hmm.
I don't even know how long it was afterwards, but I don't think it was long. I started asking my sister, "Hey, can you read the Bible to me?" And
Mhm.
of course, that's strange, but she did it.
Hmm.
And she would sit in my bed with me and she would read me the Bible.
Hmm.
And that's when I finally was able to start sleeping and
Hmm.
not having night terrors or any kind of insomnia. And she would read random things. It wouldn't even matter what it was. She would read Exodus. She would read stuff from Genesis. She would just open it up and start reading. And I would finally start being able to fall asleep.
Hmm.
My mom she would put her Bible under my pillow then. I think she left it on like Psalms 91 and left it under my pillow. And so I would lay and rest my head on that. And then she had the Bible experience, the CDs where it's like all the celebrities reading the New Testament or reading the Gospels. And she started playing it. I have like a record player that you can put CDs in there. And so at this time I still wasn't really able to see, but I started like memorizing which button was play and skip and pause on my what's it called? My record player, right? And so I started
Mhm.
listening to the gospels and got really, really, I just loved it. Like, and I remember listening to Luke a lot over and over and over and over. And at the time I didn't know what
Hmm.
was so special about it. Like now I see, Luke is different just in the way that like he over explains certain things. He has extra details. He talks about women more. And I feel like I'm a yapper. I like extra details. Like I like things like that. But at that time
Hmm.
I was able to pick up on that some way. And like, and so I'll play it over and over and over. And then eventually, um, I I had a doctor's appointment, and the lady that was my doctor, and this was right after another doctor told me that I'll never be able to see again for my left eye. And
Hmm.
I just was like, okay, I don't believe that. Because even though I didn't know God yet, I didn't know Jesus yet, I still had some kind of faith that this was a temporary thing. And
Hmm.
so when that doctor said that, and me and my mom were like, we don't believe that. My dad's in the corner bawling his eyes out. The first time I ever seen my dad cry in my entire life was this moment. And I'm like, I don't believe that, whatever. The next doctor that comes in, she says, "Hey, my husband is from China, and I just want you to know there's a study where if you drink goji berry tea with 24 goji berries in there. You can drink 2 cups with 12 and 12. But if you do that every day, it'll strengthen your retina and
Hmm.
your vision and your eyes and your eye health in general will increase if you drink goji berry tea. Just try it, see what it does." And it was her wisdom, and she was a Christian. She said, and me and my husband will be praying for you. It was her, and it was, I seen a commercial that talked about these vitamins for vision, and it was these vitamins that were made using the diet of the zebrafish, which apparently zebrafish have the best vision of any creature in the sea. And so I started taking the vitamins. Next thing I knew, now my right eye is 20/20. And so it went from being legally blind to then whether on my glasses or not, I see the same. I just wear my glasses mainly to protect my left eye, and because it's just a cute little comfort thing. I just like my glasses. But now and it just helps things zoom in a little bit better. But it's like that. And so during this time when all of that is happening, I'm getting attracted to the Bible, this and that. I suddenly feel like I think I'm supposed to take my crystals outside and smash them. I just get a random idea. I think I'm gonna smash them. Cause and then I had some other like magical books and my like little notebooks with my different, spell things in it and stuff that other stuff I did that my family didn't know to throw away. And everything I could think of, even some clothes that I felt like were not in alignment with what I felt like I needed to do and who I was like becoming in that moment. I turned my grill on because I am my family's grill master and I can grill. I turned the grill on and I burned all of it. And I went in the grass and I smashed all the crystals I had. And I had a lot of them. And I just put on some worship music. At the time, I didn't really know a lot. I knew like Marvin Sapp. And then I just had whatever gospel stuff could happen, like whatever random radio stuff, and just played it and smashed the crystals and burned the stuff. And my older sister, who doesn't live with us, she came to visit, and she is also a skeptical person, but she was talking to my mom because my mom kind of left me to do it. She just watched me and she didn't say anything. My sister asked my mom, like, hey, did Mimi tell her to do that? And Mimi's my cousin who like led me to Christ. She was like, did Mimi tell her to do that? And my mom was like, no, God told her to do it. And they just watched me. And from that day, everything changed. Got filled with the Holy Spirit, had a whole thing where they prayed for me, seen a flame go off in the spirit. I felt it move through my body. I'm crying and screaming and worshiping and praying and this whole thing. And it just like everything dramatically shifted after that moment.
Yeah, that's that's amazing. How long ago was this? How many years ago?
5 years almost to the day. Today's April 11th. Yeah, so next month on the 12th makes 5 years.
Wow. That's awesome. Well, Asata, if somebody who was living a lifestyle like you were living 6 years ago, 7 years ago, if they decide maybe I should try this church thing out, or maybe I should talk to a Christian or anything like that, what would you recommend the church do in response to a person who is living your lifestyle? Like, how would you recommend the church, respond to that person, talk to that person, be available to that person?
I would hope that the church is well versed in the spirit realm, period, in a sense where it's like, yes, we know that the Holy Spirit is a spirit, like he is God, the power of God, and he is God who lives inside of all of us. And God has angels and God has things like that. And there's the devil and the devil's angels and stuff like that. But I would hope that the church would be well versed in knowing that there are people that understand the spirit realm in a different way than they do. And that if somebody comes to them saying, these are things I've experienced, these are things I've seen, these are things I know, I would hope that they would have anchor scriptures to know why what they're saying is not true and why it's deception. They could point to examples like in Acts, where Paul is dealing with women in the occult and psychics and things. They could point to Deuteronomy, talking about how God views witchcraft and sorcery. They can point to the 10 plagues and see how, even though the magicians there try to copy God, at some point they had to stop and say, this is the finger of God. Like, I would hope that the church could then say, yes, what you've experienced is real. The Bible even shows that the stuff you've experienced is real and that it can happen, but just know that there's a power greater than that. And that what happened to you and what's happening with you is not for your best interest. So I would hope that the church would be willing to learn from them, hear them out, but be warm and kind enough and not judgmental to let them just have their own process, not try to change how they dress, change how they talk, change how they show up, but just be happy that they're there and just really pour the love of Christ into them, because that's what changed everything for me. It wasn't people barking at me, telling me I was wrong and this was terrible and I'm a demon and I'm a witch. It wasn't all of that. It was my cousin being kind to me and saying, it's okay, you were deceived. But then being kind to me afterward and saying, oh, you thinking about reading First Chronicles? Why don't you read John? John could probably say something cool to you. Like, just kind, a kind little assurance, like just being kind. That kindness goes a long way. Just showing the fruits of the Spirit. That's what I would say.
Yeah. Awesome. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you sharing. Honestly, I mean, I like to go into these without knowing very much about somebody's story, because I really want this to be a very natural conversation. And man, God is and has been, and I'm sure will continue to do amazingly powerful things in your life. I just thank you so much for taking the time to share your testimony, to share where you've been and what God has brought you through. And it's amazing. I feel like this episode could be easily 5 more hours. Like, there's so much more we could talk about. There's so much, like, it's one of those things where I'm happy that you have social media where you share stories on and you share your experiences on, because there's just so much more to unpack. There's so much more to dive into, because God has just worked in your life in such an amazing way, even throughout all the time that you were doing psychic readings and were, really heavily steeped in the New Age. It's like, but God keeps showing up in such powerful ways, to where even these, spirit guides are like, we want some of that. We need that to further what we like. Just if anybody, 100%, if anybody is wanting to see more of your story or to hear more of you sharing, what's going on, is there anywhere that they can find you online?
Yeah, I mainly share all stuff like this on TikTok at Asata, but it's my name kind of like sounded out, so it's at UHSAHTUH. And yeah, you could see me share my testimony, just different biblical things. I like my random little rants, the issues I have, the hypocrisy thing I talk about. There's certain things that really rub me the wrong way, or just things that I feel like the church doesn't talk about enough, that I feel like we should be screaming from the mountaintop. So that's a part of my goal, to just keep talking about things that need to be said.
Yeah, awesome. Well, again, I do thank you for your time. I appreciate you coming on to Martyria and sharing, honestly, just an extremely powerful testimony. God is so faithful, and God is so good, and your testimony is evidence of that. Thank you so much.
Man, thank you so much for inviting me. This was great. I had lots of fun. That was really great. Thanks for giving me the space to talk about how amazing God is.